This is a disclaimer. This podcast features 4 professional idiots who share their insights and anecdotes. This podcast is intended for entertainment purposes only. This podcast represents the opinions of the guests and should not be taken as medical, legal, or professional advice.
PJ, can you speak?
Before we start, I got a question for Alex. Can I say my jury duty thing, or is that not allowed?
I mean, what did they instruct you? Usually the judge will tell you what you're allowed or not allowed to say.
I was on a grand jury, so there wasn't usually a judge there. But so, like, the example I had of, like, what to say versus what they mean was, like, they would tell us that they found the defendants in, like, profile and picture and stuff from, like MVD records and stuff.
Oh.
But what that actually meant was he had priors because he was already in the system. So can I say that out loud?
I mean,
if you don't have identifying information.
No, it's not one specific person. It's just like a general thing. But you know what I mean? It's kind of, I feel like it's on the edge.
It's probably fine as long as there's not identifying information of like whose grand jury it was or anything. I was
gonna say, there's nothing that you could trace back. It's kind of like the antithesis of when we were hoping we could maybe get the story in, and then we realized you can literally Google all those things and figure out who the hell it was, and we're like, nope, we can't do this.
Yeah, I had to like edit and bleep out a bunch of shit. It still worked out. You still got the story, but like,
which also makes that story way less funny.
I'm also curious, PJ. How do you know that when they said they found something in MVD records that they mean he had a? Are you saying like a criminal history or that he had priors?
Basically.
Well, that's what he's saying. Is like what I say versus what I mean. They're saying he has, that
he has priors, and we already knew about him, but they couldn't say it that way, so they would just be like, oh yeah, we found it. We know it's him because we have his picture from MVD records.
I'm just surprised that they care because there's a weird quirk that I found out because I didn't take Crim Pro in like actual school. I had to do a little bit of it for the actual bar exam. And what I will say, save what?
Save it. This conversation.
Then, well, you can just repeat it. But yeah, this conversation is gold for the topic because it's just elaborating on things people don't know about.
Oh, well, I mean, this isn't a what I say versus what I mean thing. This is just like a nightmare horror show of evidentiary rules like not existing in certain parts of the law. Like all the rules around like a lot of the regular rules of evidence don't apply to grand juries.
Right. Yeah, it's totally different.
Yeah. So if they wanted to, they could have just told you like this guy has prior convictions and like you can think about that when you're making a determination as to whether or not to indict this person. But like at trial, almost certainly most of those would not come in because it
wouldn't go that way.
Yeah.
I had the customer service stuff like thanks, have a nice day, man. Gotta get the hell out. Stuff like that.
Get off my lawn. What he actually meant was, I'ma kill you.
I just had to give you that one warning before I'm allowed to shoot you.
Also in Texas, it means see you tomorrow.
You sure you don't mean Florida?
Yeah, that's it.
All right, I'm gonna phase into my hosting persona.
I'll show you a hosting persona.
Okay.
Please keep that in.
What does that even mean?
Please keep that in.
You guys, so a lot of podcasts that I listen to, they do like kind of like when improv groups do like funny warm-ups and like icebreakers and whatnot. And so I just shake my head and just make like, I don't know if it's a Gollum voice, I just make noise because it just kind of makes me giggle to myself of just like, if people knew this is what your doctor does right before he goes on to something, I don't know, I guess podcasts I wouldn't call professional, but like the little stupid rituals and the things that we do to gear ourselves for something God, serious isn't even the right term. Wait, hold on. Did Craigbot just stop?
No, it's just Ben.
What is happening?
He's just messaging in the text chat. That's all, Dan. Don't worry about it. No, but yeah, there's definitely.
I don't see any text chat.
You don't see him in the general chat?
Oh, I'm not in the general chat. Hold on.
Yeah, you're in the bot spam, aren't you?
God, that scared the hell out of me. I was like, Craigbot, no. Not again.
No, not for this topic, you bitch.
No.
See, Dan, you might do the shake your face back and forth and do Gollum voice. I've got enough jowl going on that I shake back and forth and go, all right, and then just do Richard Nixon voice from there.
It's funny because it just reminds me of the yo.
Oh God! As a
yeah.
callback.
Yeah.
Oh yeah!
I am saying that when the president does it, it's not illegal.
Welcome back to Overqualified Idiots, if you're tuning in again. And if you're joining us for the first time, this is a podcast where usually 4 professionals come together from various fields: medicine, pharmacy, law, and engineering. And today we have fit that exact script. If I sound a little on edge, it's because I am, because we are recording this episode for the 3rd time. I didn't want to give up on this topic because both the times we previously recorded it was phenomenal. Tons of fun, tons of laughs, tons of good info, and I'm just not willing to give up on it. We were previously recording with my brother, and after the first 2 failures, he quit. He said, nope, we're not doing that again. I'm not doing it again. If you record it, I'm not going to be a part of it. And I kind of get that. But I'm Dan Casey, MD, your hostess with the mostest. Well, not hostess, hold on. But
Hostess.
I didn't think about before I
Hostess.
Hostess? Host, yeah, not hostess.
He's a test host.
It doesn't matter. All I want to know is I need a donut right now because you said hostess.
Hostess.
You're the hoster with the moster.
Quick. That just reminded me because I have such a weird opinion on Hostess products. What is your go-to, Hostess product? PJ, you brought it up.
I need one of each, so Twinkie and cupcake, and I need them together.
Okay, I'm with you on the cupcake train. Ben, what do you think?
I don't eat Hostess products. I don't remember the last time I had one.
Oh, mister, I'm too good for processed sugar. Okay, Mr. High and Mighty in your ivory
That's not
tower.
what I said.
I only eat Bosa donuts.
But in kind of today's honor, is it what you meant?
No, it's yeah. Actually, it is exactly what I meant. Wait,
don't spoil it. Stop giving it away.
No, it's not what I meant.
Well,
no,
PJ, Patrick's not here, so I have to take over his job of taking away the title from the host. God damn it!
Why can't somebody else be a host, Dan?
Alex, shut up, Alex. What is your go-to?
Oh, I don't. Genuinely, I'm in Ben's camp. I haven't had a Hostess thing in ages, and I am definitely not too good for processed sugar, as anybody who's ever seen me can attest. But
Well, okay, I have a weird thing because I actually used to love Zingers, which I think is a very niche sort of Hostess product. But I will concede that since the whole buyout...
Okay, hipster.
Yeah, I just have the Hostess hipster. Yeah, so ever since they had the buyout and they basically went bankrupt and then somebody bought them and brought it back and it was like a big hullabaloo, the too big to fail Hostess went under, and then I feel like it came back and no one gave a shit. And then the product itself was subpar compared to the original. But yeah, PJ, I gotta agree with you. Love cupcakes.
I mean, the Zinger is just like the same as the Twinkie with icing on it. I mean, it's like a landing strip.
But I just hate... I don't like Twinkies. I'm going to say it. I'm going to put it out there. I'm not a fan.
But you
Anyways,
like Zingers.
You guys have already... Yeah, but it's just chocolate frosting with chocolate filling on chocolate cake. It's just everything I want.
Wait.
Not to live past the age of 70.
Is Zinger something different than what I was thinking? Isn't the Zinger the Twinkie with the icing on top, or is that something else?
I mean...
They can be. I'm looking at them right now. They come in a bunch of different flavors, but it looks like the traditional ones are chocolate. But damn, they don't have a chocolate cream on the inside. It's like a white cream.
Right.
Oh, you're right. It is white cream. It's the same as the cupcake filling. So really, it's kind of like if somebody took a cupcake and turned it into a Twinkie. Anyways, moving on.
You know what? Ding dongs. That's mine. I'm going with it. Mostly for the name, but also they look good.
The topic for today was the desserts, right? Because we nailed it.
Oh my god, I loved. This is like just my childhood is like as a treat. When we went to like Circle K or what have you, I would get a Nesquik chocolate milk and a pack of Zingers, and that was my go-to like dessert choice. And that
my God,
is
that's
why
a lot of chocolate.
that's why I was a fat kid. So, you guys have already heard my co-hosts or colleagues. I'll just go down the line. Alex, JD.
Howdy.
Yeah.
I am actually the JD, studying for the patent bar, soon to be a patent attorney, hopefully, if I passed the bar exam on the first try, which would be great.
Well, good luck to you, man. I'm sure you're going to do fine, honestly.
I don't get to find out for more than a month.
Well, yeah.
It's killing me on the inside.
Well, don't die yet before you find out. And also, we have Bengineer. Say hi.
Hi, I'm watching literally on my other screen, watching a rocket launch from the company I want to work for and am applying for. So,
that's right. Is that the Firefly?
I mean, I wasn't gonna say it, but yeah, like you can keep that in. But I wasn't gonna say it.
Should I bleep it? Is that a big deal?
No, it's not a big deal.
I was like, I want to work for them. No, don't tell them.
To be fair,
you gotta play hard to get then.
SpaceX is hiring, not hiring. Good lord. SpaceX is launching a rocket, like, they have launched 60 rockets or something crazy like that so far this year. And we're not even, there's 52 weeks of the year and they've launched 60 rockets.
That is pretty impressive, actually. Considering how much goes into it, and, like, weather alone will delay things for months, I feel like. But, like, what? Okay, I can't let this go. Why would you not want a company to know that you were interested in being hired by them? It's not like playing hard to get is what applicants need to do. I don't understand.
No. It can be, actually.
This, from what I've heard from other people, Firefly is very much looking for employees. I have several positions I am applying for within them, but I don't not want them to know. It was just one of those, like, which rocket am I watching?
Don't date it. Don't date the podcast.
Yeah.
We have had so many delays at this point. I don't care anymore. Alex, can you expound on that? Because I think in the medical field, I'm sought after like crazy. So if I want a job or don't want a job, the ball is 99% of the time in my court.
If I had a job previously, that's a different story. I'm looking for a foot in the door. So it would be like if you were looking for a residency.
Is that what you're getting at, Alex?
Well, here's what I'll say. For things that are more you feel good about doing it, or that are prestigious, or things like that, if it's like, especially if they know that, like, oh yeah, I really want to work in this field because it's a good thing. I feel like I'm doing something positive in the world by contributing to it. They know they can charge a lot less, or that they can give you a lot less in salary, and you'll still take it. It's kind of like all the stuff where, like, nonprofits and like charities will pay their people much shittier than the going wage for equivalent work in other industries, in part because they know that people like the feeling of contributing to something like that. So the more generally you give off that vibe, they'll feel like they can pay you less, probably.
Okay, so what you're worth goes down if you actually want to work for them. That sounds awesome.
So like, that's not even what I'm going for. But like, I'm actually going to be applying on two different fronts, both from the engineering standpoint, which is what I have a degree in, and what I will be doing. I'll be actually within the next week grabbing some certifications with stuff they're not yet doing, but will be in the future.
Okay.
But I will also be applying because they make their rockets, much like Rocket Lab, out of composites. So they make them out of fiberglass. Nope, not fiberglass. I'm wrong. Carbon fiber. I currently
step up with your work.
I currently work with fiberglass, so I could probably get a job as a composites manufacturer with them. It's just not necessarily what I want to do forever.
I see. So it could be a foot in the door while you work the engineering.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Exactly. And changing jobs within a company, like the big thing is if they'll look at it and go, well, are you just going to immediately ask for a raise? And, then it's their thoughts against my word of, I mean, I'll work there as long as you need me to, but yeah, I'd really like to work engineering.
Oh, heaven forbid you want to work in what you trained for.
Yeah, heaven forbid I want to work what I spent 7 years getting a degree in, as opposed to what I've spent a year doing.
And last but not least, I haven't forgotten about you, our pharmacist, PJ.
Hi.
We're still in the intro.
You know we are. I was gonna say, I guess we could be done with small talk, but PJ, how you doing?
Good. What's up?
That's literally what I asked you. What's new in your world, man? You can't just deflect the question with the same question to me.
Well, Dan, I think what he's saying with his deflection, in fact, is fuck off and move on with the topic. Which, speaking of saying one thing and meaning the other.
Oh, you fucking asshole.
Anyway. Is that a topic?
All right,
Alex, is that a topic?
It could be. I mean, we got to wait for Dan to announce it, right? It's the rule.
Right.
PJ, is that our topic?
Probably.
It was PJ's idea of a topic until we foobarred it twice in a row from a technologic standpoint. But yes, that is the topic. What I say versus what I mean in a professional context. Now, I feel like this can take a lot of different angles and a lot of different approaches. I feel like in medicine, when we talk about what I say versus what I mean, like my job, I have to be very clear. I have to be very direct when I'm working with a patient, when I'm working with a colleague, when I'm working with some other level or mediary in the medical field.
Dan, I think you do, but I don't think people don't know my background. Well, they know my background. They don't know my family. I come from a medically sided family. My father's a doctor. My mother's a pharmacist. My sister works in the medical field. So I know enough to be dangerous, but obviously nothing professional. But I don't think you do, because things like you have to float around things because a normal person can't if somebody's terminal, you can't be, well, you can and you have to be like, they're going to die. But not a lot of people realize that a lot of things go from, oh, this person's sick. Okay, is it days to weeks? Is it days to hours to days? Is it... I don't know if you talk in those terms, do you?
Well, not anymore. I used to. When I worked in the hospital in the ICU, we had those conversations, and the way I've been trained and the way I've been taught is those actually should be very sort of straightforward conversations. I feel like what I say versus what I mean shouldn't leave much in the way of questioning. If people still have questions and you don't have the answers, then you need to find someone who does. Not necessarily leaving things up in the air or things, this is, Tyler's job in a nutshell. Dr. Tyler working in palliative and hospice, that's his every day. So right. I'm sure he would have a lot to weigh in terms of how he phrases things, but I was getting more at kind of a tongue-in-cheek sort of within the medical field, or sort of the side I wanted to take this. Because when it comes to like giving diagnoses, giving treatment plans and explanations as to why, I probably spend 3 to 5 minutes gathering history, looking at imaging, and performing an exam. Maybe a little more, maybe a little less. It depends on what they're there for. But I spend like 15 minutes of a 20-minute appointment explaining exactly why I want to do what we're going to do to try to get them better. So, really, I feel like when I'm not being direct is when I'm being a cheeky bastard. And I have a list. Let me find it. Here we are. So, what I say versus what I mean in the medical field. Everybody knows somebody that they think is a jerk or a mean person. And trying not to mince terms here, but there is a diagnosis called a borderline personality. Is part of a category of like personality disorders. It's basically, in my mind, and the way I think of it, it's the way of calling someone an asshole to their face without calling them an asshole. Because that borderline personality is the people who basically manipulate, and the second they're getting what they want, they're thrilled, they're happy, you're the best doctor in the world, and the second you tell them something they don't want to hear, you don't know what you're doing, you're a fraud, you're you're a crook, and you're never going to come see you again, which, by the way, I'm thrilled when people say that. But that being said, that's kind of the way I feel like medicine dances around certain more sensitive, more non-professional topics. A neurologist, for example, who has patients coming in for pseudo seizures, a condition where they're having seizure-like behavior without an obvious cause. I see neurologists document in the chart all the time, or used to, I should say. Yeah, according to their negative brain scan and EMG findings, these are supratentorial in nature. Do you guys know what supratentorial means?
No.
I kind of remember from our previous time talking about it, Dan, but why don't you tell us?
What do you say versus what do you mean, Mr. Casey?
So the tentorium cerebelli is part of the brain. It's basically just the bottom part of the brain, so it's a way of saying it's supra, it's above, it's all in their head. Which is actually, for seizures, that may not be the best example because it's still all in their head. But not what I'm getting at. I'm kind of sad Patrick's not here because I feel like he appreciated this one the most. And tell me, Ben and PJ, because I don't think you guys have heard this. What do you think the diagnosis of incarceritis is? Alex, don't tell them.
I'm not going to.
Excuse me?
Incarceritis, Ben.
Is that like a jailbird who just can't stay out of jail?
I mean, that's not a bad guess, but no.
That's like
somebody's got the
backwards
itis.
From there.
Yeah, take it back. Take it back now, y'all.
Reverse.
Too hot.
Sorry, we all went there.
Incarceritis.
How about you, PJ? You got a thought?
Something along the lines that it's all in their head?
Well, that's supratentorial. We already been there.
Okay, then yeah, I don't know.
All right, incarceritis is when somebody has the sudden onset of crushing substernal chest pain concerning for a heart attack right as they're about to be arrested and taken to jail.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not gonna lie, I looked up incarceritis meme and it's Zoidberg. When you have a strong case of incarceritis.
Oh yeah, no, there are plenty of times we're in the ER and see somebody come out with cuffs for what we call a cardiac rule out, and I guess it's just a good chance to like get out of the prison or to delay going to prison, but that happens a lot, and I'm sure my ER colleagues, and if you're tuning in and happen to work in the healthcare setting, can attest to. But yeah, I don't know. I just feel like in medicine we're really kind of cheeky, and you got to find humor in your job. And when you find these situations, these are the things that come up and that I've read and seen and heard other doctors talk about. The one that I think we all do, and I know that Patrick picked up on this because he now uses it to describe certain clients that he works with, but whenever somebody doesn't, it's like pulling teeth trying to get information. We call them a poor historian. And that's a way of saying they have no idea what they're talking about. They can't give us any information. God, it's the worst when you're like a resident or a med student trying to take a history and you finally get a semblance of a presentation and you go to your attending or teaching physician, you present what you think is going on, and you go back and all of a sudden the patient has a completely different story. And
cool.
That nothing makes you feel or look dumber and more frustrated. But yeah, poor historian is a really common one. You'll see that in documentation when it's just like, well, the patient was high on 3 different drugs found in their systems and recovering from alcohol and couldn't tell me where or how he came to be, so he is a poor historian. But those are like what I see in the medical field, because in my job, I feel like I have to be really direct and really clear. At the very least with patients is where I think of the most. What examples do you guys have? And I wanted to hear what you had to the table. I have more. I have tons. I have like a list here. But I want to give you guys a chance. Alex, did you have any to start us off?
I mean, yeah, poor historian describes plenty of people like coming to you for legal advice as well, or just not being able to tell you the details of things. As far as like in patent law or like civil law kind of stuff, people come to you, and a lot of the time, at least in my experience, we sit down, we'll have an opening conversation, we'll ask a lot of questions, we'll talk about like, oh, here's where like our like, legal relationship is, here's what we're going to do for you, here's what we're not going to do for you. A lot of that we keep very straightforward and above board because we have to for ethical reasons, and also because we want to make it clear what we will and won't do to help clients. But like oftentimes especially for patent stuff, one of the first sets of questions that we go in and we're asking about is we ask them to tell us about their patent. And then one kind of line of questioning we'll go down is we'll ask them about like, so, who have you been working with to test out this invention? Or like, have you been working with any manufacturers? Have you been doing anything related to this kind of stuff? And while we actually do care about that information, we're really trying to suss out is who the fuck did you tell?
I see where this is going.
Have you told anyone about this thing? Because it really matters, like a lot in patent law.
So why does it matter so much? Tell me.
So in 2013, there was a law that was passed called the America Invents Act. And actually, I think it was in 2012, but it came into effect in 2013. Not the point. The point being that it created a grace period where if you've disclosed your invention to someone, you have a 1-year deadline to file it within the United States as a patent, or you lose the right to do so.
Oh, because the idea is out there.
Exactly. The whole point of a patent, it comes from, I think it's like letter patents, to make something patently obvious. The whole idea is that you tell everybody in the world about it by filing a patent, and then because you were nice enough to tell us all how this new technology or new thing works, we give you a right to it in some ways so that you can, recoup investment in researching it or preparing it or doing whatever else with it.
Or manufacturing, etc.
But if you go around telling people about it beforehand, well, why would we give that to you then? You were telling everybody for free.
Why would you give any exclusivity? So you got to flush that out. I got a really niche question.
Okay.
What qualifies as telling a person? Is this person conscious?
And that's why it's so important the way we're asking, because we're not just asking, did you tell anyone under any circumstances? We want to know that. But also, like, if you were doing experimental work, like you were testing the invention and you had someone prototype it for you, that's a separate type of protected disclosure. And if you did something else, like, I don't know, it's usually the main one is experimental use. So if I go to someone and I start testing out the invention and they work with me to test it, that can be excluded from the traditional rules of a disclosure under some circumstances. And so you might not have the 1-year deadline anymore. But it's really important to know the exact nature of who you told, why you told them, what the situation was. And usually the really unfortunate one is if you just told a family member and it ever gets out that you told that family member prior to you getting the patent or even filing for it, you're done. Like that's wow. You're in big trouble, especially if you told them 1 year beforehand.
What if it's a child, your little niece or nephew or your own child? I don't know. That's why I asked, like, what qualifies as a person?
Yeah, well, I mean, no, a person's a person, Dan.
The legalese says otherwise sometimes, but that being said, if I tell my Nana who's in a coma in the hospital this new secret idea and a year later I haven't patented yet and she miraculously wakes up, did I set a clock on myself? Do I need to be worried?
If she knows or was able to know that you were telling her that?
Technically, yes. People in comas, there's actually tons of research that talks about that and tons of anecdotal stories that talk about people like, yeah, I heard everything. And yeah, that's why they actually encourage people to talk to, family members, loved ones in comas, because they do process and on some physiologic level respond, but it's not always obviously a real response. Anyways, tangent aside, I just like, if Nana wakes up a year from now and she's like, I've got a great new idea for a patent, and I haven't I've been shuffling my feet on this, I'm like, I lose those rights? You
might. It's complicated.
Oh my God, I know. That's why I was like, I want to find the most niche situation.
It's always one of those things. So I'm going to give the lawyer answer is always going to go Maybe. It depends. It depends on all the other factors that we need to look at.
As Patrick likes to say, it depends on what the law says and what the judge ate for breakfast. Actually, you guys don't deal with judges too much in patent law, do you? Or how often does that come up?
We deal with patent examiners.
Ah, okay.
Then after that, almost inevitably, we do end up dealing with judges because everything goes back to the PTAB at this point, which is the Patent Trials and Appeals Board.
Okay, so that's like your overarching judges.
Yeah,
I mean, can you ask a grandmaster? No, I'm just kidding.
It's complicated. So like, patent law gets broken up into like these two halves. So it's like I say patent law, and everybody's like, "Oh yeah, that's one thing." And it's like, well, there's patent litigation, and then there's patent prosecution, and they're technically two completely different processes. And then everybody looks like, "What the fuck is he talking about?"
This is why you take 2 boards.
Yes, this is why that happens to me. So yeah, that's, I guess, another what I say versus what I mean. Patent prep and prosecution is I am prosecuting the patent before the United States Patent and Trademark Office, before the USPTO.
Okay.
That only applies to them giving me the patent right. In order to actually use the patent right, I would then need to file a lawsuit in the federal courts accusing someone of infringing on my patent. So
there's the getting your patent approved and recognized, and there's the going after the people that are trying to cash in on your invention or idea.
Yeah, it's and the thing is that ironically enough, these days it ends up kind of going to both, because usually what happens nowadays is I sue someone for infringing my patent, and they're like, "But did you really deserve to have that patent? Let's go out and litigate that issue again." And they file something in the PTAB called an inter partes review, or depending on how long after your patent's been granted, it might be a post-grant review. Depends. But yeah. And then we go over whether or not you deserved a patent a second time. Before we then go back to the federal court to determine whether or not the other person infringed on it.
Here's your patent. Psych! Takes backsies.
Yep. It happens.
It's funny too, because like in a litigious society like the US, no way. But patent laws are interesting. Patents are to me one of those things where it's both really interesting in terms of trying to protect rights to your work, to your creation. But then it's also interesting to try to protect ideas, because ideas are just out there. So I can appreciate the litigation of the things behind why, like, okay, if you don't can patent this before you tell the world, you don't get exclusive rights to this idea.
Yeah, no, I mean, it gets really, really complicated with all this stuff. And there's a lot of people who have very strong opinions about these issues right now. There was just a hearing before the House Judiciary Committee that had some of like the old guards of patent law come in and have conversations with them. Like a previous director named Kapos came before them and was making arguments about how they need to change the standards and do all the things. But yeah, no, it's a mess. It's honestly kind of a mess. And it's like, it's one of the only areas of law where you have to relitigate an issue that many times consecutively. Genuinely, normally there's a rule that says, nope, you can't do that. But in patent law, you can over and over.
Weird.
Yeah.
The statute of limitations isn't the term I'm looking for. What am I looking for?
So there's a couple of different things. You might be thinking of double jeopardy, which is what they call it in criminal law.
Yeah, and when be tried for the same thing twice, but apparently your patent can be sued multiple times.
It's issue preclusion is what the civil law concept is. It can also be called estoppel. There's some special form of estoppel that it's called. I keep forgetting what it's called.
That sounds like a really cool board game. Hey guys, you want to come on over, have a round of estoppel?
Yeah, have a round of estoppel.
So, well, that's all really interesting and complicated. PJ, I want to hear from you. No, I'm just messing with you, man. I'm giving you a hard time. It's more just the nature of our field sometimes. Like, I can't be unclear in my job, but I can be unclear or tongue-in-cheek with how I talk with friends, colleagues to some degree, and maybe even in documentation if I'm trying to imply something. But that's what I think it is. It's implication. So, PJ, what are the implications in your line of work? Or do you have something, Ben?
No, I was just gonna say, I should note to people who do not know, if you think that the most accurate show of behind-the-scenes medicine is House, you're wrong. The most accurate, and Dan, I'm assuming you're about to back me up on this. The most accurate show for behind-the-scenes medicine is Scrubs.
Yeah, we did a whole episode on this last season. You just weren't in it. Yes, I will back you up because that was the media and television episode, which honestly we should repeat a different version of, just with different
people. Yeah.
But no, Scrubs is 100% more accurate because it doesn't talk about the medicine. It just talks about the relationships.
Yeah, you cannot talk about the medicine or else you will just go crazy. You would not have survived residency. Anyways.
Yeah, there's a reason I don't talk specifically about a lot of medical terms and jargon. Like, very, very small tidbits here and there, but I try not to delve into it even on this podcast because I guarantee you there's going to be some Poindexter like, technically, here's an exception. And I just don't need to have people calling out my medical chops.
Practice.
Yeah, exactly. PJ, what are some instances where you say one thing but mean another, or what are the implications behind certain things you talk about or manage?
So by and large, your pharmacist should be very honest with you. What I'm gonna say is kind of like historical stuff. So a lot of it pertains to like when I was kind of studying under somebody as an intern, that kind of stuff. So I'll just kind of like share my experiences working under them as far as what they were doing.
Good disclaimer. Good preface. I like it. You're safe now.
A lot of this has changed in the last 10 years anyway. So, like, I doubt most pharmacists are doing this to begin with. But, like, really, your pharmacist will only get dodgy with you, even historically, when it comes to generally controlled substances, not a whole lot of other stuff. And that's only because they have to, usually.
That makes sense.
What's an example of a controlled substance, by the way? Like...
any narcotic like hydrocodone, oxycodone, codeine.
I was playing the dumb man to
Xanax.
Like,
yeah. I mean, there's others too. There's benzodiazepines, there's barbiturates. I think technically Lyrica is also a controlled substance, but that's actually like a nerve pain type medication.
Isn't
all of the fully illegal drugs are all controlled? They're just on a different schedule that makes them not prescribable.
Right.
I was gonna say that, but also like things like Ritalin and
the stimulants. And I mean, shoot, dude, there's like, I still think there's a formulation for actual cocaine as a treatment for something for the eyes, though. I don't remember, but like you can get prescribed cocaine for a very specific thing. So yes, those all fall under what you consider to be a controlled substance.
They stock it in some ERs for nosebleeds, I think. Maybe some other uses too. But.
What? I'll ask questions later.
Yeah, so you got to make sure you have your coke nail ready if you have a history of nosebleeds, because you got to go to the ER where you're going to get to... Anyways, moving on, PJ.
Yeah, and so I'll just start off with like kind of fake scripts being called in. A lot of this is electronic now, as I'm sure Dan knows, so like this doesn't come up really that much at all, if at all anymore, but so just kind of historically, like 5-10 years ago, you'd have a lot of stuff being called in that you didn't feel like was legit, or you kind of knew after a while that it wasn't legit. So a lot of pharmacists I was working with at the time would just kind of, oh, hey, I'm calling this in. Oh, I'm sorry, we don't have it in stock. Oh, okay, I'll try somewhere else. Thanks, bye.
Is it one of those things where it's like, this prescription for 400 oxycodone from last week's to this week, we don't have that much in stock. Goodbye.
I mean, pretty close. I mean, a lot of it was stuff like Xanax 2 milligram, which is the highest strength that goes.
Holy shit!
And like it would be calls like on like a Friday night at like half an hour before you close. Like, hey, I'm calling this in for a patient. They need 120 of these tonight. Okay.
Why do they need 120 tonight? What kind of Friday night do they have planned?
A real fun one.
Apparently, for them and 120 of their closest friends.
And like I had some pretty savvy pharmacists at the time that were kind of, I mean, it made sense at the time, like especially learning from them. I kind of like get a lot of what they were going for, but it's not stuff that I could really always do and say at the same time. But they would even be like, oh yeah, if it's Friday night, like you don't get your next order in until Monday, and most patients know that anyway. Just if they're calling it in, they know it's probably not legit, oh yeah, we can get an order for Monday, or you can find a different pharmacy. I can still put it in for you, and then just verify it like Monday morning, and then be like, oh yeah, there you go, it's ready. So stuff like that. If it was legit, like 1%.
Yeah, for sure. If it was like a reasonable script that somebody just needs urgently because they're going out of town. Which I was gonna say, God, that's another thing, isn't it? Like you get the out of town scripts or the travel scripts and the bridges and those various things. I always feel uncomfortable when I had to prescribe those. I don't know how uncomfortable it felt on the other side of things, having to decipher which of those are legitimate or not.
The biggest thing that helped was like, well, the ERX helps because I know it's coming from the provider or somebody who's, been issued by the prescriber to authorize that.
Right.
But it got kind of gray when we were kind of just trying to talk to somebody at the clinic, and they'd be like, yeah, it's fine. Like, okay, I need to know a little bit more, but okay.
You're talking to the MAs. The doctor says it's okay, so it's okay. Do your thing. Do your job now. It's my license on the line, so maybe you could just give me a little more to work on.
Or like I find it's kind of funny. Like PAs are annoying for everybody, prior authorizations. Like when stuff isn't going through your.
I had a moment where I had a heart attack, and I was like, I thought you were saying physician assistants. I was like, whoa, calm down now.
Sorry, no. In pharmacy, PAs, more prior authorizations.
Devil.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like I get that they're annoying. So we'll fax out for it. Like, hey, Dr. Duff needs to work on this, blah blah blah, and we'll get. Sometimes it's even the doctor. They'll just like sign it and fax it back to us, and be like, it's approved. I'm like, how do you think a PA works?
Oh, those are docs who just like. So I will say I'm guilty of this sometimes because there are prior auth forms that are different for various drugs, various insurances, and it is super obtuse sometimes what they actually want. So speaking from that side of things, yes, I know I don't just need a signature. But some of those forms are like, you need to document like 3 other forms of treatment before they'll approve it and nonsense like that. And so I will say I have been guilty of trying to fill it out to the best of my ability and probably coming up short because I don't know what they need or want. And it's really frustrating on our end. This is why prior auth is one of those things that was created likely by insurance companies to just be another barrier to care. So when When I say that, I mean that. I'm not being obtuse. That I just think that a lot of these, it's just for efficiency and to make sure no, y'all just don't want to fucking pay money. I'm not angry. Anyways, go on, PJ.
No, you should be angry. Be angry.
It's a comedy podcast. I've been angry enough on this podcast.
You know what we need? Does anyone know anybody who's an insurance person? Because no, I want them to come in here with a doctor and a pharmacist.
Yeah,
but also have them be ready to be slaughtered.
That's why I love Dr. Glaucomflecken on like TikTok and various things, and how he just rips apart insurance and talks about how United Healthcare is basically run by Satan. Shout outs to him. Kudos to him. If you're somehow listening to this podcast, you probably already follow him on social media. So 100% love his work. Yeah. Go give him support.
I mean, as much as I would want to chew out, like whichever insurance person comes on, it's not their fault. It's the person above them and above them and above them.
Oh no, it's like multiple levels. But the people working for those insurance companies are just, for the most part, just answering phones and diverting to peer reviews and making. I can't tell you how many prior auths I've done where I've called and said, "Hey, I'm doing this appeal," and they're like, "Oh, okay. What's the diagnosis? Internal derangement of the knee with a knee effusion and a meniscus tear." And they're like, "Oh, that should have been approved. Why was it denied? Those are covered diagnoses." And I'm like, "I know. That's why I put them." They're like, "Oh, okay. Well, it's a month out since the request." "I know, because you sent it to me yesterday, and I did this a month ago." "Oh, well, now it's past the time we arbitrarily decided, so you have to do it again." Son of a bitch! I'm fine. So I resubmit the order, and then I call them the next day, and all of a sudden it's done. And mind you, I order like, I don't know how many MRIs I order. Sometimes I swear I don't order any, and sometimes I order like 6 in a day. But the point is, that happens way more frequently than it should, where I get a phone call back, or I'm talking to somebody in an appeals process of like, "Hey, I ordered this, and this should be a covered diagnosis." And they're like, "Wow, yeah, you're right. It should." I'm like, "Yeah, crazy. I know." Anyways, so PJ. Sorry, I was getting worked up as I do.
Really?
But I don't know if you had other. I'm fine. Everything's fine.
How are you? I'm fine. Everything's fine. How are you?
Was that the Star Wars reference?
Yes.
Harrison Ford. Okay, just checking. I'm just making sure it wasn't.
Not enough people.
Dog, everything's on fire.
No, not enough people use that reference. It's such a good reference. We're fine. Everything's fine. How are you?
It's his pained look after he says it that really sells it. I'm just like, damn it, that was stupid. Actually, Ben, I haven't got. Oh, sorry, PJ, go ahead.
No, you said a funny story, I guss, but just in general. So there's this like really high guy driving a car, and he gets pulled over, and he's stoned as whatever. But so he gets pulled over, and the police officer like rolls the window down, and the police officer's like, "Well, I'm gonna try to get this out to a nice start at least, and I'll figure it out from there." And the police officer's like, "Hey man, like you're clearly kind of buzzed. Like, how high are you?"
I know this one.
And the guy is like, "No, officer, it's high. How are you?"
I swear, officer, I'm fine.
Try to trunk, I'm not cad.
Exactly. I was wondering where you were going with that one because I knew that one and I suspected it as soon as you started telling the story.
Yeah,
it's a good joke.
Well, because it's exactly what Dan Ben had just said. But yeah.
Ben, I haven't gotten to chat with you much about the topic. Apparently, we talk about hostess all day. As far as in your line of work, in the area that you train for engineering, I imagine there's a lot of like saying something and not necessarily not meaning what you said, but not having it understood at all.
Oh,
Can
well,
you elaborate? Or maybe there is a lot of what you say versus what you mean.
Oh, I have actually a very fun example. I'm trying to remember some other ones, but one I can remember. Okay. I don't think I've told this story before on this podcast for people who don't know. So, this is a story that ends in the what you say versus what you mean. And it kind of comes down to having to put a spin on things for the space industry is a lot more politically motivated and politically tied directly versus, medicine or pharmacy, which is more tied to the consumer, I feel like.
It should be. I would say there are still political influences, but I get where you're going. So there's very, very political and governmental backing.
Yeah, that's better. The political backing for space is huge. The political backing for medicine is, it's there, but it's not their main source.
Sometimes.
Weird. Regular people need medicine. Regular people don't necessarily need space. But
that's just a funny sentence.
So
they don't need to go to space.
So last year, the Russians launched a new module for the International Space Station called Nauka. It had been in development for about a decade, which is about right. So it had some thruster problems. Nobody was actually sure if it was going to make it because its main thrusters that were boosting it, like after it launched, it was in orbit. Its main thrusters that were boosting it to the International Space Station had some malfunctions, so it used a lot of its attitude control thrusters to get it up there, which is like controlling the direction it faces.
I know you've said altitude.
Attitude.
But did anyone else hear
attitude? I did say attitude. Altitude is...
that's intentional?
Altitude is the height. Right. Attitude is the orientation.
Oh,
I thought it was how radical it is.
Yeah, how sassy it can be.
Oh,
that's
don't
a
worry.
Sassy rocket.
You gotta modulate that attitude.
Don't worry, we're gonna get to a module being radical.
Okay. All right, Alex, you foresaw this.
Oh, no, don't worry. Those puns are absolutely going to pay off in about 2 minutes.
All right. Sorry. I see to check in because I was like, gotta modulate your attitude.
Okay, so it does make it. It makes it. There's about 2 days where people are like, oh God, is it going to make it? Is it just going to fall back to the Earth? It makes it. It docks with the International Space Station. It's great. Then there is, I am reading the NASA tweet from July 29th of 2021. Following this morning's docking of the Nauka module to the space station, the module's thrusters started firing at 12:45 Eastern Time, inadvertently and unexpectedly moving the station 45 degrees out of attitude. Recovery operations have regained attitude and crew is in no danger.
Okay.
So that's
why do I feel like I never heard about this? What the hell? That seems like a big deal.
Probably didn't hear about this, and it's worse. That's what NASA said. To be fair, they updated this tweet 4 days later. 4 days later? 4 days later. So what actually happened was the Nauka module attached to the space station, which a lot of people probably think it's some big rigid, it's like a house or a car. It's very rigid. It doesn't move a lot. I have had a person who works in mission control on the ISS describe it to me as a bowl of wet noodles. That is what the International Space Station is like. It is a bowl of wet noodles. They can tell if an astronaut's awake and moving around because you can see kind of modules flopping around a little bit because they're pushing off of them.
Okay.
Is that okay? It has to be, I guess.
But
because it's in space, so there's no real okay.
But they said 45 degrees. 4 days later, they update. Space station was 45 degrees attitude when Nauka's thrusters were still firing and loss of control was discussed with the crew. Further analysis showed total attitude, so facing, how it's orientated, change before regaining normal attitude control was 540 degrees.
It did a spin and a half, basically. That's a bit much.
The Nauka module tried to aggressively undock from the International Space Station and literally made it do a barrel roll.
Oh my god.
Do a barrel roll!
There were controllers who, I believe they posted this on Twitter, not, obviously, they have, this is not the thoughts of NASA and what have you. They went, I am very surprised the space station didn't break apart.
Oh my god. So
the only reason it stopped was because it ran out of fuel.
So, two things. One, that's fucking terrifying, and I feel like I didn't hear anything about
You didn't.
this.
I can guarantee you didn't.
Second, if you Google do a barrel roll, the whole screen on Google does a barrel roll.
You didn't know about that?
What? Oh god, I forgot about this.
Yeah, it's been a thing for years.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Because it's like Slippy from Star Fox that does the thing.
Do a barrel roll.
Yeah, exactly.
Why is there there's official Google Easter eggs? Well, okay, I just went down a Google rabbit hole that I'll get to later. Or get back to later after this podcast. But, okay, so yes.
Oh my god, why is the International Space Station held together by duct tape?
It's not. It's just that's how... It's not a rigid body. That's... The people who are in control of it know this, and it's fine. It's absolutely well designed enough that doesn't matter. It's a common misconception that, it just sticks in place magically as though it's, Legos and rigid. No. It's floppy and it's fine. It's got tolerances and they're probably insanely large within reason, as they tend to be in aerospace. But yeah, so a lot
it's
of
fine until you try to make it do a trick.
A lot of aerospace, especially the public relations side of things, is saying the things that make it seem normal, because a lot of it is normal. Like, to be fair, the station flipping 540 degrees is not normal.
No shit.
But
that feels like an understatement.
But
just a little bit.
Because the space industry, and Dan, this is a little bit what you were getting into, because the space industry is, a lot of people are like, it's so advanced. A lot of people go, it was invented by NASA, guys. Okay, yeah, it was probably just a solution to a problem that everybody has, and NASA just could throw money at it. But it's a lot of it is simplifying it for PR reasons so that it doesn't seem out of phase with what a normal person would think.
What? So it's not catastrophic? I mean, I feel like if the International Space Station, heaven forbid, had fallen apart like it sounded like could have happened,
that would have been weird.
The what I say versus what I mean of PR in aerospace is just fucking lie to them. Just don't tell them the truth.
And so yeah, that one, like they did end up saying what it was, but obviously probably only that first bit of it was what probably made news, not the rest of it.
Did they publicize what actually happened as to why those thrusters went on and stayed on until fucking it ran out of fuel?
I don't recall if they did. There was just something happened. Nauka's thrusters fired, and it attempted to aggressively undock from the space station, and then it ran out of fuel, so it stopped at the corrective motion of the space station, which it was trying to do, was able to keep it, like, from continuing to flip around, because that creates G-forces which are bad.
Well, I was going to say that astronauts could not have been feeling pretty good in that, doing a trick in the middle of space.
I have yet to hear, and maybe I need to look, but I've yet to hear any talks from any of the astronauts of what it was actually like when that was happening. Because as far as I know, that's the first time that's ever happened.
Hopefully the last.
Fingers crossed.
I will mention a quick second one because I had to ask some people because I couldn't
Before
remember
you move on to another one, Ben, I am curious. Yeah. If it started spinning because of the thrust, how did it slow down?
There had to have been. They're corrective thrusters.
Okay, good. They fired corrective thrusters. Okay,
it had counter. So there's a whole scale of events that happens when something like this starts to happen. Things like all communication. So they can generally communicate with the ISS. Well, they can communicate with the ISS at all times. But if something like this happens, literally everything else, any deep space communications, I think they end up pointing all of the DSN, Deep Space Network dishes at it. They literally make it priority 1. Everything else gets bumped. And corrective thrusters were firing, but couldn't counteract this.
Couldn't counteract it turning into the vomit comet?
While it was firing. But then...
I'm just impressed it only did like one in... it was almost 2 flips.
Yeah, it was almost 2 flips.
Before it stopped.
Oh no, I am too. Trust me. But yeah, so it's...
Assuming they're not just lying again, actually, it did like 6.
No, them saying 540 degrees is still enough for anybody in the know to go, what?
Just immediate cringe.
Oh my god.
You ever hear a story in your line of work that just makes you uncomfortable and makes you just cringe?
Yeah, that was...
I imagine that's just all aerospace engineers.
Oh yeah. But yeah, so that's one where it's kind of spin, but it's also because nothing bad... Like, to be fair, this was bad, but nothing catastrophic happened because of it.
I just want to point out, Ben said that was kind of spin. That's all I got.
Also, now you understand why I called it an attitude adjustment?
I love it. Oh my god!
And the
attitude modulators were doing their damnedest.
Yeah, the attitude was flipped from calm to being absolutely fucking terrified.
The very quick one is, and this is more absolute spin, that doesn't actually involve real spin. When Northrop Grumman was testing one of the Artemis solid rocket boosters, by the way, the Artemis program is going to send astronauts to the moon again, and it's happening right now. They were testing a solid rocket booster, and it literally, obliterated the nozzle, which is the cone thing on the end of the rocket. It just, shoot it up and spit it out. You saw these chunks flying out. They didn't say that there was, So SpaceX at least has this fun term called a RUD. A Rapid Unplanned Disassembly. That's honestly pretty face value. It's a euphemism, but it's pretty face value. They said they had
I like that.
They said they had an observation during the firing.
That's funny.
That was their official release. There was an observation during the firing of this solid rocket booster. It basically chewed itself up and spat itself out.
That's one hell of a euphemism. Damn.
Yeah. So those are.
I've had some observations in the ICU too. They were very, very toned down. Apparently,
I will go ahead and allow y'all to use that in your perspective fields because I feel like I had some observations about this client. I feel like the judge will absolutely understand what you mean when you say that, Alex.
Oh God, that makes me think of this one time I did an injection. I had an observation, guys.
Oh no.
This is the one time I've ever been kicked. I was doing a knee injection, and this patient was new to me. She had been going to another surgeon, to a doctor that she had seen for years and years and years, kind of high-strung, kind of anxious. And I was the first doctor that was ever going to be doing her injections for her knees, other than this one other doctor. Needless to say, she was a nervous wreck. And so I apparently did one thing slightly different, where I would basically they use like cold sprays. I think the one we use is like ethyl chloride or something. It just evaporates really fast, so it doesn't numb the skin like lidocaine or like a numbing anesthetic. It's just cold. It's just temperature. And apparently the doc that she had seen before would spray it the whole time during the injection. I just did it before and then did the injection because I clean off after, because technically cold spray is not sterile. Very, very nitpicky. That's just my thing. I think there's a multitude of ways of people who do injections, and basically if you keep things clean, they're very safe. Anyways, I did that, and I don't even have the needle near her. I picked it up and turned towards her, and she screamed and kicked me in the knee, and she was like, you scared me. I was like, what the fuck just happened? I haven't even poked you yet. I didn't say that, but that's pretty much how the conversation went. I had started to go near her, and she screamed and kicked, which is not what you want to do when you have somebody coming at your joint with a sharp object, by the way. Just pro tips. But yeah, that was my observation. We had an observation during that encounter.
Sorry, you did another one. You said pro tip. Okay, go on.
Oh. Alex, what were you going to say? Sorry, I thought I probably cut you off there.
No, I didn't have anything this time.
A RUD. I like that. A rapid unplanned disassembly. That one cracks me up, but
it's fantastic.
It just brings. Those are the things that I love, because we have tons of those in medicine. I mean, I feel like ours are usually just mean. Because Pat's not here. I remember the last recording we did. He'd say, so this is what my doctors document about me. But we don't say somebody. You can't call people fat. It's rude. And so we document they're well nourished, or
good lord,
they're deconditioned.
Okay, so I will say, I will say that the minute there is a loss of life, and I'm sure this is the same for you, Dan, the minute there's a loss of life, euphemisms are generally out the window.
Oh yeah,
it is. To be fair, I still hold that generally every loss of life in in the space industry has been preventable. I'm going to put an asterisk on that because I may not know about some, but I mean the three big ones for Americans were all preventable.
Well, you know what? I'm going to actually say no. I disagree. In medicine, we don't stop with the euphemisms because, I don't know, this is you brought up Scrubs. Scrubs did a good job of explaining. It's humor's how we get by.
Yeah.
You have a doctor in the room explaining to a family why their loved one passed, and he's not going to go home and mourn. He's not going to go home and process what happened. He's going to go back to work. So humor is how we cope. So when you say somebody, passed, say, in the hospital, what do you think I mean when I say, I talk about discharges? One of the euphemisms is somebody has a positive clothing and shoe sign. You walk into the room, they're all dressed, they're not in hospital gown, they're ready to go home. And generally speaking, that's a good sign. But, what happened? What do you guys think I mean if I say somebody's transferred to the 6th floor of a 5-story hospital?
That the hospital did really well and you're getting another floor.
Discharged to heaven.
I thought
they've been discharged to Jesus. That's what that means.
I thought you were going to say
medicine doesn't.
I thought you were going to say a negative clothing and shoe sign.
Negative. Well, that's sometimes the ER, but no, the discharge to the 6th floor is the discharge to Jesus. But basically, I don't know. Medicine's one of those weird fields. I feel like there are dark moments, and you got to find ways to cope.
Just to piggyback on your you can't call people fat comment. I had someone complain about me that I called them fat. I'm like, I said no such thing. I'm like, where's she getting that from? So we read into the complaint further. Apparently, I told her that her blood pressure might go up if she takes Sudafed, which she interpreted as me saying that she's fat.
Jesus. Like, no, that's just what the medicine does.
Right.
Where did that... What? I don't know. That's one of those things where it didn't matter what I said. They heard something.
Right. I'm like, you heard what you wanted to hear.
Oh, man. I mean, if you ever see... heaven forbid you're in this position where you get imaging reports and they'll say suboptimal imaging quality due to body habitus...
Oh, God.
The radiologist just said he can't read your CT scan because you're too big. So, sorry. ICU docs are the worst. God.
Yeah, when I was on rotation at the hospital, we had one guy. He had to literally go to the zoo to be weighed on the elephant.
Oh, God, that's right. I told this story, too. I didn't know you had this story. Yeah.
I had this guy.
You did? We had one in our hospital. He was like 600 pounds. Yeah. He had to go to the Phoenix Zoo to get a CAT scan.
He didn't live through the year, but
yeah. Oh, it was like my other patient. I know.
If you have to go to the zoo to get a CAT scan, you may be overweight. I'm just going to write that out, just in plain English.
Hey. Don't tell people how to live their lives.
Maybe in some way that's the only CAT scan.
I see what you did there. The big cat.
CAT scan. Oh my God.
You're full of them today, PJ. Damn, you came to.
PJ came to play.
Is your wife pregnant? You've got tons of puns and dad jokes. No, I feel like you do bring up a good point about like in a lot of professions, Ben, that like death is kind of this. Okay, we don't joke. Medicine still doesn't. I mean, in the ICU, again, it's like coping. Humor is a good way to cope. It's a healthy way to cope. As long as these jokes, now that I put on a podcast, don't get to people who are suffering, because you don't want it to feel like it's at their expense. It's just how we get through the day. In the ICU, not just COVID, I actually was in the ICU doing my training before COVID happened. And we would get people coming in with respiratory distress from a cold, but they'd be like 500 pounds.
You're like, oh, this is not going to be good for you.
Yeah, so the ICU docs called them TFTBs. What do you think that stands for?
Too fat, too...
Fucking big?
Too fucking big. No, TFTB. You're on the right track.
Too fat to be... something.
Too fat to breathe. They literally need a respirator because they have no reserve. Their chest, their body habitus is so big, they can't fill their lungs the second there's even slightly more demand. So yeah, when you get to the point that your body is carrying double the amount of weight it's built to carry, you're going to see systems fail. So the ICU docs, I think, are the meanest. They're the ones who have to...
I was going to say, I guess I will say, I'm in an industry where if everything goes well, death will not happen outside of, crazy extenuating other medical circumstances. You're in an industry where if everything goes well, I mean, death's still an option. Sometimes, Tyler exists. Sometimes people...
Tyler has an important job.
People just are on the way out. But generally at this moment, if you're going into space, you are probably in fairly good health. Which means if you have been killed, something went very, very wrong.
Yeah, it's a tragedy, and that's why. But you don't joke about that. I mean,
right. I think that's probably the difference. If it got to the point where literally anyone could go to space, and there was a 600-pound person who was attempting to go into orbit, and max Q, the maximum dynamic pressure on the rocket, and suddenly they couldn't breathe because of the weight, and they passed on the way to orbit. Maybe we'd start joking then. But
That's like an expected outcome at that point. I mean, there's a reason we're not sending my 600-pound life people to space.
I don't think we've hit that point in the space industry yet. It'll probably get there eventually, where
commercial space travel is going to be the shit. Probably not in our lifetimes, but when that does happen, I would love to go to space.
Same.
Let's bring it down a notch. A little serious. I don't like it. So if ICU docs are the worst, I think pediatricians are the second worst. Because they have some of granted, I actually think I have the hardest job. I didn't go to pediatrics on purpose. The worst part of pediatrics, go. Tell me.
Parents.
Yep. All right. Well, that was.
I'm friends with you. I know these stories. The kids are freaking incredible. The kids are troopers. They're excellent. The parents have a kid who is sick, and they should not be sick because they should be young and healthy, and they are stressed and just want their kid to be better, or they're just assholes.
Or that. And I'm not going to go into this. But if I told you I was going to diagnose either a kid or a parent, because it can go either way in that field, with status dramaticus, what do you think I'm getting at?
Drama queen.
Well, there's that. That's part of it. What else? There's more to it than that.
I mean, you said it in Latin, which is basically legalese. So, Alex, a little help?
That their state is very dramatic.
Wait, is that what that translates to?
So status asthmaticus is a diagnosis. It's usually like a lot of people who come in who have either severe anxiety, who think they have asthma, and it's like, no, you can't breathe because you gotta calm down, bro.
Oh, so it's like a panic attack more so.
Or it's like a parent who just won't calm the hell down about their kid that's perfectly healthy, which then we suggest a parentectomy, where it's like parents losing their mind about their child, and it's just like, no, you're the problem. The part where I'm getting at, where they're like, oh, why are parents so mean, is like when people say kids are syndromic. It usually means they have like some kind of birth defect, some kind of chromosomal anomaly. But I don't know who came up with this, pediatricians will say, oh, well, they're an FLK.
Funny looking kid.
Guesses. Funny looking kid. And apparently that's somehow more okay than calling someone syndromic. That's awful.
I mean, syndromic makes it sound like it's some kind of genetic abnormality like you were talking about, whereas like sometimes...
Which it is probably.
Yeah, but sometimes people are just funny looking.
Oh, I see what you're getting at. Like the inverse, like so a parent brings a kid in, they're worried, oh my gosh, what's wrong with them? Like, I don't know, you gave them these genes. Just a funny looking kid.
Does that mean?
It's your fault, mom and dad. You gave him that face.
I feel like this is kind of in a similar vein of how post-traumatic stress disorder, there's a George Carlin joke where that man loved to rip apart euphemisms. And if you want euphemisms, post-traumatic stress disorder has had some real crazy ones. And yeah, go listen to that joke. They called it shell shock in World War I. Yeah, no, you got fucked up in the head.
Well, yes, as soon as you're done listening to this podcast, go and listen to George Carlin. And that is going to remedy everything you hear here. That being said, getting a little long in the podcast episode, but not too bad. Alex, did you have any more what I say versus what I mean examples? Maybe in your line of work, maybe in, I don't know, legalese is weird.
Yeah, legalese is definitely weird. So when it comes to patent law stuff, basically, lawyers are assholes. And
you heard it here,
if you no, I mean, seriously, like if there's an argument to be made about why a word doesn't mean what a word means, someone will make it, and then you all have to agree that this word now means this thing that it clearly doesn't mean, but some asshole made it mean that thing. So quintessential example, Dan, in the legal field, in patent law in particular, if I give you the word a, what do you think a means? If I'm talking about like a thing, the indefinite article a.
Oh, okay, I got it. Like a singular, like I have a phone. I have a.
No. You've already got it wrong.
Oh no, I've activated your trap card.
The very first word that came out of your mouth was a singular. I'm sorry, Dan, that's not what it means. In fact, in patent law, a can mean one or more of a thing.
Wait, why? What? Why?
Because That's why. Like because someone couldn't be bothered at some point in the past, some asshole couldn't be bothered to use the phraseology one or more in a patent, and then when he had A in it, he didn't want to get sued for malpractice by his client and said, well, no, if you really look at the etymology of the word A, it clearly means one or more. There's no singularness to it, even though that's how everybody thinks of the word A.
Even though that's convention and literally the intent of the letter. Mm-hmm. It's not even a word, it's a letter. Yep. But
I feel like that dude was an A.
Yeah, that dude was a real big A. He was one or more A's, in fact, but you know.
That doesn't make me as mad as prior auth. That makes me mad because that just seems like a trap.
There's so many of those all throughout patent law, which is why like it is hilarious. Like if you're in the know to like read patents that were written by people who didn't know how to write patents. Like you're looking at it and you're like, oh, you poor bastard. Here's where you fucked up. Here, and here. Another classic one that I find very entertaining because my brain is broken by all of this. Dan, what would you say the difference between the words connected and coupled are?
Connected and coupled? Mm-hmm. Connected means joined. Coupled would mean, I feel like connected is probably... Like if it's an umbrella term, coupled is underneath that, but coupled means they're joined together and exclusive from other things. That's just where my brain kind of jumped into it, but like
flip it around,
more or less, they seem like they mean the same thing.
Coupled is the broader of the two.
Wait, no,
yes.
What? No.
Yes. And here's the worst part. Connected is narrowly interpreted as meaning that the two things are directly affixed to one another.
Okay.
Whereas coupled can allow for something to be between them. So like a washer in like a screw and a nut, like that couple together, that you can stick a washer between them and they're still considered to be coupled together.
But that's not what the word means.
It's what I say versus what I mean, Dan. What I say is coupled, and what I mean is that the two things are connected, but there may or may not be something between them, and that's allowed.
That's like a couple, a man and wife. There's not supposed to be something between them. They're supposed to be exclusively connected together. That's like not the broader term. Oh, my God. Okay.
I mean, if they're doing it right, there is something in between them. But that's okay.
Hey.
Maybe this. Then are they truly a couple? I guess nowadays.
That's a term we need to introduce into patent law as thrupled. If we've thrupled something together, it means we stuck three things together.
That's just when I'm frustrated and just trying to make words. Oh my God, that does make me upset as the prior auth. That's just laziness. I don't know. It's just like literally the opposite. So apparently in Ben and Alex's field, you just lie. You just change the meaning of things.
Oh yeah.
And me and PJ's were just assholes who just try to accommodate people and get through the day. And apparently we're very mean. We're very mean with our euphemisms.
Yeah, you guys are mean and we're convoluted.
It's true. I mean, when was your last CPR class, Dan?
It's 9 months ago.
So, like, the last two I think I've had. So, like, they play music when you're practicing on the dummies.
I know where this is going.
They've been playing Another One Bites the Dust. And I asked them why. And they're like, it's the one that has the best beat to the rhythm, like, so that you're doing it at the right time.
Yeah, because it's like, duh, duh, duh. Another one bites the dust. That's 100 beats a minute. And the problem is staying alive is also 100 beats a minute. So every class I've ever done, you want to keep the person alive, not let them die. I've always done staying alive, staying alive.
But my classes have, for whatever reason, always done the other one. I'm like, okay. I guess it depends on the person.
We've had very different instructors from very different paths of life.
It's probably the same one, and they just woke up on the wrong side of the bed, like when I had the class with them.
I'm just imagining this person teaching them CPR, and he's like, I'm just going to teach them very slightly the wrong thing, and then I can laugh maniacally while I teach them Another One Bites the Dust with the song to it.
No, I actually think it's the same instructor, just very different days. One day he got a new puppy, and the other day his girlfriend broke up. So it's
and the girlfriend took the puppy.
Oh my God, yeah, Another One Bites the Dust. Just let me go. I fun fact, you're gonna love this. Lizzo's new song, it's not new anymore, but About Damn Time, same beat, 100 beats a minute. In a minute, I'ma need a cinnamon roll from the oven to fill me up. Those aren't the real words to that song, but all right, this episode's way over time. We gotta go. I'm guessing nobody has any last minute contributions.
We get paid time and a half, right? You said overtime.
Yeah, I totally pay you the zero. I'll pay you time and a half of zero I currently pay you.
Wonderful.
You got it, buddy. Well, thank you guys for joining me. This was a fun episode. I pray it actually records. It looks like it will. Fingers crossed. Yeah, thank you all listeners for tuning in. You can tune in to us every Sunday, post episodes weekly while the seasons are going. You can follow us on Spotify, all the major podcast platforms, download the episodes to show support, leave comments on our Facebook page, various social medias, if there's things you want to hear, topics you want to have us delve into. And yeah, we will see you guys next week. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I beat you to it.
You fucker.